Welcome back to BTide, and let's get started with aiming. So in this video we are going to set up the animations for basic aiming. Sorry, my mind is going out of control. So what you need to do is basically create a new variable which will tell us if the player is aiming or not. This has to be replicated, but we are just going to create for now in a animation blueprint. So from the idle, let's create a new state which will be idle aiming. So when the player is aiming but not moving, so this will be the condition when the player is in that zone. So go to the tick and there should be two conditions. Let's drag the is aiming, and we also need to make sure that the player is not moving. The verification check is for the should move variable to be false. So the aiming should be true and the should move should be false, and these two conditions should be met, and then only this condition will be true. So we will use an and operator, and we will reverse the value of should not move, so that we get a opposite value for that. Now then let's go back, copy this blueprint and go to should, like transition back from idle aiming to aiming, and this will be is aiming will be no, will be a false. Basically it should be a false, and should move should be a true. So in either of the two conditions we want this to come to be true, and that's why we are making it an or condition. And in the animation we just have this idle rifle animation that we replicated, so that we retargeted. So let's switch to weapon, and if we turn the aiming on, you can see that's working properly. Let's go back and create a new state, and that would be for for aiming with moving. So if you are moving and then you want to create, you can create it from the idle aim, or you can create it directly from the idle. I will be creating it from the idle animation. No, I have to create a state. So new state, and name this idle walk, run, aim. And the true condition would be basically is aiming is true and should move is also true. Yeah, you can copy these two nodes, just copy these three things and go back, and in the false condition, like from the back condition, this should have a not operator. So either you can keep both of them not, or you can just reverse this basic one and convert it to a not operator, and we will get the reverse of that value. So let's try. We will have the weapon, and if we increase the velocity, oh, should move should be true, and we don't have any animation as of now, so that's why you see that character in him. So let's go back and put an animation on it. To do that, we need to get a layered bone. So let's search for layered bone. Layered bone. Am I writing the wrong spelling? I think so, yeah. So let's type it layered. Yeah, layered blend per bone. And the bone name is spine 03, spine 02, whatever you feel is better for the game. I am going with spine 03. Many people you will use spine 02, so that is not an issue. And the jog animations will go in the blend pose 1, and in the second one we will just put the idle animation. So and that is the rifle animation, that is the idle rifle animation. And so the upper body will be the aiming one, and the lower body will be the running one. Now this will only work in the editor, as you can see as of now, because we have not replicated the value itself as of now. So let's go and do that, because the animations seem to be working pretty good. That's what we wanted, right? So that seems to be working. Let's set everything back to their original positions. Just give me a minute. I'm just thinking if I'm missing anything. Nope, I'm not. So let's go and replicate the variable. So to do that, go to the C++ code and create a new function that has to be a server function and callable from the blueprints. So we can just copy this, or just directly create a new view function, which would be reliable, because we are not going to aim every time, right? It's like a little bit rarer than a shooting, and we cannot miss because the character has to be replicated over all the clients. And then we will have a void function which will be server aim on weapon, aim for player, aim player. And then we also need a property. So basically we will need a u property, that is a variable that is replicated and will tell us if the character is aiming or not. So just copy this line, and because it's already replicated by default, we will just create a boolean And because a boolean starts with b, so b is aiming, and that is it. The default value should always be false. Let's go back and replicate this variable. So to replicate it, in the get lifetime replicated props, get the lifetime replicated prop and set this to be replicated. Now when that is done, let's go back up, and in the server aim player, we will fire this variable. So this should become a false or true depending upon the value that we send here. Now in some conditions you want it to be explicitly false, and that's why we are giving a choice to the player and not just inversing the last value. I hope that's clear. And then we will just set the b is aiming to the value that we receive. Now we also need to make sure the weapon that we have is a weapon, like the equipped weapon that is valid and is a weapon. And that's why we are adding a check here. Now in any case, if this is not true, we will just set the b is aiming to false. So if we don't have a weapon, but maybe we had a weapon before and the aiming position was set to true, it will reverse that here. And that is it. So let's go and build, save everything. Now we just need a minor thing, that is linking this up in the blueprints. So let's go to our animation class, and in the event graph we will just create a new pane, set the value of this is aiming, and we will get the character reference, and from here we will get if it is aiming or not, and that's a replicated variable, as you can see. So that's working. Now we need to change, we need to call that server function which we made, and that requires an input. So let's go and right click the input key and replicate it, and we will name this IA fire, or IA aim, and go to the default and create a new input for aim. Now this would be on a right button click, and let's go and create a new input event, which would be IA aim. Oh no, not this one, IA aim. And we have to call it on triggered, on started. Don't call it on triggered or you will see something very bad. Let me show you something. Not this function, shit. Server aim, array server aim, the first function, yeah. And we will get the default value of the aim as of now. So we will get the aim value, and we will inverse it and pass it to the server aim, not boolean, and pass it. So now this should be called on started and not triggered, but let me show you something what happens. So if I press, you will see what happens. So basically it's trying to do it very quickly. I don't know if you can see on the video, but it's trying, like it's vibrating very quick because it's trying to do that, but I kept the button pressed, and that's why it was switching between them. So always make it on started and play. So as you can see, we have the weapon, we can aim, and we can even fire with that condition. And this is basically, even if I show you the line trace, one sec, if you see the line trace, both the positions have the correct line trace. That means they are correctly replicated. So that is it for this video. Meet you in the next one that's coming, I think 2 days later. Bye.